What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the Collective Clips where you already know, we get it in. But before we get it in, let's get this intro in. Welcome back to another episode of Superwood, brother. You got your coffee? Brother, I can shoot you a shot, but hey, that's about it. Because see, the way that my coffee situation works is I only got 4 jars of Folgers left. So I could sacrifice one shot. If you don't eat it, you can't defeat it, right? This is about a Superwood that was undefeated, a story by Roach that he told me, man, that I'm going to tell you guys, and it's all good in the hood. I ended up meeting this guy, and I can tell you right now, Sabacos undefeated. For those of you that don't know what Sabacos means, refer to the handbook of Mexicans, and it means under armpits. Okay, if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the woods, brother. And we appreciate highly, man, all the support we're getting on this channel. Thank you so much. I'm very humbled by it. So let me tell you a story about Roach and his homeboy, Abby. First of all, when he said, hey, I got a homeboy named Abby coming over, right? What do you mean a homeboy named Abby? That's what we call him, brother. We call him fucking Abby, right? I said, do you call him Abby or was he born Abby? Because Abby to me is Abigail. So if his name is Abigail, he wasn't born what you think he was, brother, right? He's like, brother, he's a fucking down-ass wood. I know that, right? In fact, let me tell you a few stories. Let's go back to memory lane. So obviously, the homeboy Abby was called Abby because his name was not Abigail because he liked to tear man's abdomens out, right? I don't know. But that was his name, and he ran with this. So story went like this. He's like, once upon a time in a land far, far away, brother, where meth was being cooked and used consistently, after about the 16th day of being awake, I ran into a guy named Abby. He was actually my connections connection, and he was well connected. We'll just say that, brother. Anyways, he came over, and there was mugs of coffee throughout the land. And this motherfucker right here had hands, brother. I said, well, how'd you find out? Oh, he beat my ass. He actually knocked one of my teeth out. I'm like, bro, you have 0 teeth. Brother, I'm imagining things. We're going back to the land far away. When I had teeth back then. But now, just go with the fucking story, S.A. I said, N.A. Whatever you are, I don't fucking... No, I don't believe in none of that shit. You guys are Mexicans, and that's all that matters. So he said that this guy, Abby, was undefeated. The only person he's ever come across in the county jail, a wood, that beat everyone up. Now, back in these days when me and Roach were kicking it, the Norteño movement was different, okay? What you know now as the Norteño movement and the way Norteños carry themselves within county jail facilities, prisons, and all that, wasn't how it was. In fact, I wished a long time ago that I could have went way back in them days and did time. I probably would have still been a good northerner, brother, right? Because it was more of a convict mentality. There was no structure that was running the yard, so it wasn't like 1,000 burpees. It wasn't like homeboys getting whacked on the yard for not making their beds. It wasn't people trying to smut each other up. There was no politics like that. It was you stick with your own people and you beat everyone else up. There it is. The woods were like, brother, we're in for that. Is there coffee involved? And heroin? Yeah. Sign us up, brother, right? Good old woods. There's always been a lot of woods in the county jails in Merced. Now, in Merced, we have 2 county jails. We have downtown, which is really not downtown, but it's called the county jail, right? And it's very small. They have like 4 blocks, and it could probably fit 100 people max, okay? But then you have Sandy Mush, which is more like the road camp, or it's turned now into actually the main jail facility besides the blocks is what we call downtown. Anyways, they do have active Norteño pods there now. They got woods. They got a little bit of everything. Southsiders used to be in the bubble. I don't know how it is exactly to this day. Someone that's been in there will run you down here in the comments, I'm sure. But anyways, back then, they were all dorms. There was the 400 side, the 500, and the 600. And they used to open up all the doors, and we'd mix and mingle. It was actually like going out to a prison yard. Literally, used to walk in like a little concrete track, and it was just different back then. There was no motherfuckers having a post up and no NAQs and no fucking bonds and none of that. This predates that.
This is 96, 97. Okay. When this shit was cracking, 98, about then, before I went to prison. And so anyways, they're on the yard together. Okay. And this Wood gets there, Abby. Now, Abby had met Roach because he was Roach's connection's connection. And Roach, brother, I don't like to deal with middlemen. I like to go straight to the top. See a dude with big old caveman hands, bigger than Dub's hands, right? And a hairy chest. And he was like, brother, that's the fucker I'm talking about. What's up, Wood? Right? But what he didn't understand was Abby was what you would call a super duper Wood. See, Roach is a super Wood. He's actually a super methed up Wood. But Abby was take a shower, brother, Wood. Okay? Different type of Wood. Didn't believe in sex playing and horse playing. Didn't believe in grab assing. Didn't believe in using drugs, although he believed in, you know, what do they call it? Giving them to people for an amount of money, right? But he was like just a straight up good old hillbilly, brother. He liked to work on cars and shoot deer on the weekends. That's that type of Wood. But he had his hand in the cookie jar. And so anyways, when Roach meets him, this dude has everybody surrounding him. Now, you got to understand, back in them days, the Woods, Northerners, nobody was tripping. Like, everybody knew each other from, you know, Merced's a smaller county, so everyone knows everyone. It's all good. And I guess at the time, the Norteños were the deepest, and you best believe this, right? But the Woods had a nice little car. And so Roach is in there walking, and, you know, Roach talks to everyone. Hey, brother, I'll talk to Sereños and Norteños and an occasional black man, you know, if there's something really, really worth it, brother. And so anyways, he meets this guy, Abby, and Abby immediately takes a dislike to Roach. Immediately, right? Now, he knew Roach from the past, being his connection. That's how he first met him, the first time he met Roach, right? But they didn't really converse too much. It was kind of like, hey, what's up, brother? You got a 16th? Yep. $40. Goddamn, inflation, right? So anyways, he did his thing. So now he's meeting Roach behind the walls. It's a little bit of a different story. Everyone has a different mentality in prison. I used to be like that. Over here, I could be over here, but I go to jail and I'm like, super serio, con un booger in my nose y todo. Fuck it, let's go. So he gets there and Roach is on his, hey, brother, what's up, what's up? He knows everyone, thinks he knows everyone and everything. Well, this guy right here was the leader of the Woods. He's the self-proclaimed leader because he'll just beat everyone up. And so Roach meets him. Roach is like, hey, brother, I think I know you. He was like, oh, I don't know you, brother. He was like, no, brother, you do. You don't remember that one time you went to my house? Remember my house? That shingle fell and hit you in the head? He was like, I think I do, brother. It's like, yeah, I still got a lump right here. He's like, yeah, that was my house. Remember? You tripped over the motherfucking water hose? Remember the one that I had the adapter hooked up to that was in my fucking go-kart and I was trying to fill it up with water because I had an epiphany and an idea and a dream that I could fucking have a lawnmower / go-kart that runs on water? He was like, I think I do, brother. Anyways, and so Roach was like, yeah, so I just want to let you know, bro, I got all the H on the yard. And the dude was like, and so why are you telling me this, Wood? He's like, brother, because I hear you're the man. I hear you're the man, and I don't want to step on your toes. And now that I remember you correctly, you're the one that they say beats everyone up. He was like, yeah, I'd be that. Yeah, I'm that, brother. I'm that, right? And so Roach was like, well, you ain't going to be beating my ass. I'm going to be on this yard conducting my program with the Mexicans, the blacks, and everyone else. And hey, all money is green, brother. And if it ain't white, it ain't right. And it's right today because I got it. I ain't got no white, but I was hoping we could do some type of facility, some type of trade. Dude's like, no, brother, I don't. Yeah, you keep your business away from my business. And so Roach gets a little crazy with him. Now, remember, Roach is telling me this story. So I know it's true because Roach never put himself on the bottom. Like, he always won all the fights. He's one of those winners. You know, those YouTuber type motherfuckers that always win. They never lose. So Roach is like, brother, I told him, you know what? I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do and associate with who I want to associate with. And he was like, if you're going to do that, brother, you're just going to do that away from me. Right. And he goes, and this butt fat fucker, he came out in dirty tank top. And I said, I call bullshit. I don't remember tank tops back. This is before your time. I said, no, I did plenty of time back then. And I don't recall that. Brother, it's my fucking story. Maybe it wasn't a tank top. Maybe it was just a white t-shirt. Either way, it was dirty. And I told him, look, ain't no motherfucker with big hands and a dirty t-shirt and coffee stains all over his cheeks gonna tell me shit. And brother, this dude knocked my whole tooth out, brother. I swallowed it, brother. Have you ever shit a tooth out? I said, no, well, I have. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was very concerned. Wasn't going to get none from the tooth fairy. I was hoping the tooth fairy would put at least a gram under my pillow. Mom! Right? So he's tripping telling me the story because he's tweaked out while he's telling me it. So dude knocks his tooth out. Whatever, right? So he's telling me the story. Now he's telling me this because Abby is supposed to be coming over. I'm going to meet him. Okay. Now he's like, brother, you don't even understand. So he knocks my tooth out. I swallow it. I shit it out. A couple days later, I go back in the yard and I'm feeling kind of upset, but not upset enough to get hit by them fucking caveman hands. This guy was like a super whitewood, brother. Like I've never felt nothing like it. When they say white lightning, that's what he had, right? So somehow, some way, Roach ends up getting in his good graces. They end up becoming cool. He starts plugging in Roach for a long time. For a long time, this was Roach's boy. Now, this was my first time meeting him. So I'm like, okay, so he beat you up, Roach. That's not difficult. What makes him stand out to you? You know, he was like, brother, he was fucking undefeated. Let me tell you a quick story about the Norteños. I'm like, here we go. He was a Norteño hater. Roach always, like, Norteños never won, ever. Brother, we were in San Quentin. I remember there was a gang of Norteños there. We beat every one of them up. I'm like, bro, there ain't no damn way that the homies, brother, those are your homies, not my homies. See, my homies are white, brother. Although there is a lot of white Northerners, so you know that's a given. But he's like, so anyways, there was these Norteños on the yard, and they were buying dope from us. Listen to it correctly, buying dope from the white man. And one of them acted like he didn't want to pay. He owed $15. He didn't want to come out, and we needed our money. So Abby sends me over there. So, of course, I'm going over there, brother. And I'm like, hey, what's up? What you going to do, brother? When Big Roach comes wild, and then he says, and the Northerner did exactly what I knew he was going to do. I said, what did he do? Let me guess. He fucking went in the compa. He didn't want no problems. No, he fucking got me in the camel clutch, brother. He was beating the shit out of me. So Abby came over there, and I swear to Jesus Christ, he's not Big U, but he knocked out about 30 Northerners. I was like, yeah, right. I don't believe that, right? So meanwhile, while he's telling this story, that's where I'm like drawing the line. Like, okay, it went from some truth to it to like a whole lot of lies. Because no matter what you are, you don't want to hear about your group segment. Even if you're not active or you're active, you don't want to hear about them get beat up. Like, no can do. It's not possible, right? Well, I'm here to tell you. My homeboy Sharky calls me, right? It's like the way the world works. He happens to call me, and I'm like, what's up, Sharks? He's like, where you at, fool? Come swoop me up. I'm like, I'm at Roach's house. He's like, oh, that white man, right? He was like, what's up, bro? What are you guys doing? I said, Roach, what are you doing? Meth, brother. I said, he's doing meth. And what are you doing? I said, I'm just kicking it right here with a white man doing meth. Like, you know, a normal day in Merced, California. What's up with you? He's like, nah, I'm just chilling, bro. And then Roach is like, ask your fucking homeboy, Peg Leg Sharky. He was there. Now, homeboy, we call him Limp. That motherfucker, his name's Sharky, but a lot of us call him Limp because he walks funny. He got stabbed by a Southsider in the back, right? So one leg's shorter than the other. True stories from my neighborhood. So I'm like, hey, Sharks, tell the truth, bro. Was there a fucking wood named Abby knocking out all kinds of homeboys in Sandy Much back in the days? Roach said you were there. He was like, oh, that white dude with the big old hands? I said, yeah, him. And the hairy back? I don't know, bro. I'm talking about him, not fucking him. What are we talking about here? He was like, oh, bro, that white dude had hands. He was fucking everybody up. He fucked the gang homies up. I said, yeah, he said he fucked like 30 homeboys up. He said, come on, bro. That's too much. Like, it was like 20. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah, not all at once, but like every homeboy that got at him, like he fucked them up all over like $15 or $20 or something. So I knew the story was true. Roach is like, let me guess, brother. He cleaned up my bullshit. I was like, nah, you're telling the truth. Okay. I said, all right, Shark. Hey, I'm going to come swoop you after, bro. I'm going to kick you here with fucking Roach and we'll go do our thing. We had some shit planned with some chick. He's like, yeah, hurry up. I'm already G'd up from the feet up. I was like, one foot's taller than the other. So you're G'd up from the foot up because the other one is always a little bit high, your pants. Anyways. So I'm getting at Roach. He's like, do you believe me now? I'm like, yeah. He was like, well, he's coming over. So don't get testy with him because this motherfucker will knock your fucking socks off. I was like, bro, I ain't got no problem being done with him. So a truck pulls up and he's bumping some straight up fucking old school Megadeth. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Now, this is a wood, brother. This motherfucker gets off the car with sunglasses, takes his sunglasses off, and he's like, who's the Mexican? And Roach is like, oh, it's one of my camaradas. What's up, brother? Man, long time no see. I was just telling him stories about how you beat up all the Norteños. He was like, and I beat up all the Serranos too. I beat everyone up. I was like, no. He's like, brother, let me tell you a story. So now he's telling me the story. And I'm looking at his hands because I've been told descriptive. They've been very descriptive. This motherfucker had jackhammer hands. They look beat up. Like you could tell he's been a fighter. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker got off with a tank top, just like this dude right here on the thumbnail with a hairy ass back. That motherfucker, like, hey, all he had to do was put a sack of meth in his back and he would have got through customs easily.
So anyway, he's right there, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, yeah, brother. So let me tell you a story. So, brother, I was in a Sat F. I said, hey, Sat F, man, I've heard of it. He was like, yeah. I was in Sat F, and I ran into a couple of Serranos. See, at that time, we were politicking on the yard with some Serranos, and we were doing a lot of business, brother, if you know what I mean. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of know what you mean. Listen, brother, and I'm going to tell you straight up. One of them got crazy, and there's rules. You can't beat up on a Serrano because you fight one bean, you got to fight tostada. It's burrito, brother, but I was going to let you say it first. Anyways, so this guy's acting like he doesn't want to pay, and so you got to pay to play, brother. And I don't play. So what happened was I decided to rally up the woods and to get off on the Serranos, but I wanted him. I wanted him hands on, even though I was supposed to go knife on, but I was like, let me hit him first, and then I'll stab him a little bit, a little here, a little there. I'm like, the way this dude's telling this story, you could tell like it's true. Like there was no conscience to it. He wasn't tripping. There was no reason to elaborate or to fucking put salsa on it or crema. Like he wasn't doing none of that. It was just a matter of fact. He was a matter of fact white man. And I appreciated that about him, right? Why I was listening to these stories about Mexicans getting beat up, I don't know, right? But again, when you got one white dude who's the Terminator and another one who fucking will try to chew your arm off with no teeth, you sit back and listen. There ain't nothing else to do, Plus, there's meth smoke in there, so I'm wide awake. So I'm right there with the homeboy, and he's like, yeah, brother. He says, so what happened was we got off on the Serranos. I love it the way they say it, Serrano. We got off on the Serranos, and needless to say, I beat up a lot of dudes. And so they put the green light on me. I'm like, yeah, bro. So, yeah, brother. Yeah. I don't fuck around no more, man. All I do now is fish. I watch Oprah and I sell meth. I'm like, you watch Oprah? Yeah, I know. I've always watched her. I couldn't say it before. And Roach is acting there all super. What are you doing watching a black girl? Wood, I didn't know that. I'm like, bro, your lady's black. Right? So anyways, this dude tells me that he got the green light put on him. He ends up paroling from the oil and whatever, right? But he beat everyone up. So I'm like, okay, this is a super duper guy. He has some big old hands. He looks like an ogre, like he could fight. But I'm not too sure. His story might just be his story and he's telling it. Okay. What do you think Roach likes to do? For those of you that have been watching my videos for a long time, you know what he likes to do, right? He's like, brother, I have a great idea. Yeah, I haven't thought about this in a long time. Let's go hit up a taco truck. I was like, wait up. We just went to a taco truck 2 days ago. That's what I'm saying, brother. When you do meth, it seems like forever. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a meth story to step two, wood, step two. I'm like, all right, let's go. Right? Abby's like, we can jump in my truck, brother. I'm like, man, it's like talking to Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man. They're the mega powers. Like, I don't know who has the in their voice more, right? So anyways, we get to the taco truck. A couple black dudes pull up, right? And brothers are like this. Not all brothers, man, but there's a lot of brothers that they don't give a fuck about no one or anything. They're going to be loud. They're going to talk over you. They don't care, man, because they're going to do what they do, right? So these dudes are MGCs. They're from Merced Gangster Crips. Now, we were beefing with Merced Gangster Crips at the time. So I see him immediately. I start fumbling for a knife, trying to pull shit out, like, oh, shit. And Roach is like, listen, brother, what you got? You got a problem with the Morenos? I'm like, yeah. He was, how'd you know that we called them Morenos? He's like, brother, I've been in prison more times than you have. So what do you want to do? And Abby's like, who you got a problem with? I said, no, I ain't got a problem with no one. I'm just saying these black dudes, like, they're their enemy. It's like some politics shit. He's like, yeah, I'm not involved in gang shit. I just want a burrito. But, I mean, if they get crazy, we'll fuck them up. And one of the black dudes hears and he's like, fuck who up, white boy? One thing you don't do to a wood with jackhammer hands, a hairy back, a dirty t-shirt, and eyes like this is call him a white boy, right? He was like, what do you think, black boy? And I was like, oh, no. Fuck the gang politics now. Fuck all that shit. Fuck that. I'm from Dead End and you're from MGC. We don't like each other. These guys are like, what? I say, what? The brothers take a swing, and you best believe this. These brothers are strong, but the white man's the deepest. These white dudes continue to jump on these black dudes like, oh, this dude, Abby, had fucking knockout punches. Straight up, Jake Paul without the fucking fakery. Just boom, boom. He was hitting them. I was feeling, ooh, right? The paisa, ¿por qué? ¿Qué pasó?
no pedo, no pedo. They didn't want no problems, right? I'm watching these black dudes get molly wop, right? They're like, we coming back, cuz. We coming back. I said, they probably are too. They're like, we gonna shoot you motherfuckers. Oh, crap! Right? They're tripping. Roach is like, brother, I threw a couple kicks. You see that? You see that? I was like, yeah. And that dude Happy's like, I'll take a chili carne burrito with mild salsa and put cheese in it. Yeah, I don't want no, I don't want pico de gallo or beans or rice. I want chili carne with mild salsa and cheese, brother. And the paisa like, okay, Mr. White Man, right? Roach is like, oh, the same thing, brother. Sounds fucking spectacular. What would you have? Hey, yo quiero una pinche carne asada burrito con todo, pero sin cebolla. Hey, brother, I don't know about that Mexican shit, but whatever you ordered, that sounded like shit, right? Anyways, man, the dude Abby ended up being cool until one day he disappeared on us. What happened is he caught a Fed case, and that was it. Because I told Roach, hey, whatever happened to Abby? I like mobbing around with him. This dude he was like the quietest dude, but when he talked, you heard him. He was like, he'd mob through the mall and shit. He was like, brother, I want a fucking Orange Julius. I was like, all right, cool, let's go get one. You got money? I was like, you're the dope dealer. Shit. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to get in where I fit in. He was like, all right, brother, I guess I got our Orange Julius. But we're only getting orange because orange and white just go together, brother. It's a white man drink. And that was it. Anyways, man, he ended up catching a Fed case, unfortunately, and then I never heard about him again. That's what Roach would introduce me to all these characters, and you'd see him for a minute, and then they were like in the mix. This dude was not an active gang member. He was like the Sereno. Got rid of him. So I don't know how he ended up in the feds or how he ended up doing, but he obviously was there, man, and that was that. Anyways, he was undefeated. I seen it. I could verify and vouch for it, at least undefeated in what the fights I seen. And Roach told the story, and Sharky said, yeah, that dude fucking had major hands. So he was just another character, another good old super duper wood that Roach introduced me to. If you like these stories, hit a 1. If you don't and you want them to cease to exist, hit a 2. But let's stay in the mix conversing here on the DMs. Let me know what you guys think, man, and we'll continue these Superwoods. I appreciate all the support. Thank you.